Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with the post-match reaction. Newcastle United have just beat Fulham down at Craven Cottage on Saturday night. Rubbish fixture time, but we don't care. We won the game 2-0. We weren't particularly great, but hey-ho, a win is a win. So we're going to have a quick round-up, really, a little bit of a chat about how the game went. Little key moments of the game, obviously, and just give your opinion on what's gone down, and obviously get yours as well. As you know, we're always live on the post matches, so jump in the comments. We've had loads you on already, way before I jumped on, so I can't catch up with all your comments. But we will start right from now, and we'll get stuck in. Just before we do, a little reminder, everybody: if you're new to the channel, you're just checking us out for the first time, you've stumbled across us, you've sat and watched the brilliant commentary on ITV4, more of that in a minute, and you just thought, oh, look at these guys talking about Newcastle. Smash that button, subscribe, come and join us. We're only 43 subs away from, 43 subs away from 6,500, which is the next goal, and then on to 7,000 after that. So smash the button, like, subscribe, be a member if you want to be a member. There is an option down there too, all free content, but click whichever one suits you best. And as I say, we are live in the comments. Loads of you guys are in the comments already, which I'm not going to go all the way back. I'll be here all night doing that. We've got Ian in the house. Good to see you, Ian. Cushy's here as well. Roll on. We do. Kev's in the house. Good to see you, Kev, as well. We've also got John's Kitchen as well. I don't know what that means, mate, to be fair, but we'll get stuck right into all of it as we move on. So let's start with the lineups then. So there was some interesting news in the lineups. If you didn't see it already, the big news, I think the big couple of bits of news really, was the juicy one himself was back in the fold. Jacob Murphy, great to see him back. There was talk about him being maybe a week away, and then Barnes and Willock being 2 weeks after that, possibly, and there he was in the starting lineup. So if that's anything to go by, let's hope that Barnes and Willock are back for the Villa game. But the big news, obviously, was no Mickey Almiron, not just in the starting lineup, but in the squad completely and utterly. Now, we all saw the stories doing the rounds on social media of Mickey Almiron going at the RVI. Wasn't sure what he was going in there for. Straight away, people were saying medical, some people were saying injuries, but he wasn't here. And Eddie Howe's excuse was that he wasn't well. Neither was Jamal Lascelles, who apparently had a calf injury, and obviously Callum Wilson wasn't there as well. But all these players have been linked to moves away from football clubs, so there's no smoke without fire. And I think if we are going to do some moves before this window closes, those three players potentially could all be leaving the football club to raise funds to bring bodies in. So we'll keep a close eye on that. But the rest of the team was pretty much picks itself, really, with the exception of the change of Jacob Murphy. There was a name on the bench. Everybody started to channel the inner Conor McGregor and say, who the fuck is that guy? And it was Hernes, which is Travis Hernes, an 18-year-old Norwegian midfielder that was signed from Shrewsbury Town. So he's come through the youth academies, some quite high praise in terms of the performances he's been putting in the youth academy. So he's been rewarded with a spot on the bench. Don't think he'd come on at all, to be fair. So, he's in the squad, he's getting amongst it and all that kind of stuff. And he is supposed to be a really talented player. So listen, if he can do the same kind of thing that Louis Miley did, hey, why not? Get him in the squad and see what goes on, But we will see what happens with this squad before the end of the transfer window. But the game itself, first 10 minutes, I was a bit concerned, to be honest with you. I thought Fulham looked like they were more up for it than we did. I was really worried about Dan Burn on the left-hand side. And I know he gets man of the match on ITV4. I'll give you my opinion on that in a minute as well. But I thought the first 10 minutes, he got nowhere near Harry Wilson. Well, Harry Wilson was running them ragged. I like Harry Wilson as a player. I think he's a really good player. I think he's very creative. He's got great left peg on him. He'd score goals. And I think, you're almost waiting for him to kick on and become this 10 to 15 goal a season midfielder. It looks like he's stepping into those massive boots of Gareth Bale at Wales in terms of getting goals and stuff like that as well. He is capable of a spectacular. I thought he looked quite good in the first half. Probably the best thing that Byrne did in the entire half was fucking nobble Harry Wilson and do his shoulder in, so he had to come off. So for me, I was concerned about Byrne. The lack of pace, again, is just something that people target altogether. Yes, he pulled around at the end of the game, and at the end of the day, he's getting the headlines and getting the second goal and everything else as well. But yeah, I didn't think Byrne's performance was massively that good. I mean, I'm looking on SofaScore to give him 8.3, probably because he gets the goal. Really, he's put a couple of tackles in, one loads of headers as he always does. But yeah, I thought he was a bit ropey, certainly in that first half, Byrne. We had chances, they had chances in the first half. Jacob Murphy has an unbelievable chance. Fulham gift wrapped it to him, and he's just so rusty that he just kind of knocks it straight at the goalkeeper. And I think that's the rustiness in Jacob Murphy. He actually finishes an unbelievable chance later on, but he's about 9 yards offside. He slops it in the bottom corner, which is a great finish. But so the game's going on. It's kind of back and forth a bit. We're not really in the game a great deal. People have been sloppy with the passes. I think Bruno was sloppy with the ball. Louis Miley was struggling to get in the game. So was Sean. Gordon was trying his best, but they seem to be dealing with him quite well in terms of the full-back positions. I thought Harrison Reed was finding some joy for the Fulham side. Fulham played a lot of good football, moved the ball around really well, got in good positions, but the difference was that nobody to put it in an onion bag. There was nobody there at all. Looking up front, this Munez they were playing, and it wasn't the lad who played for us against Fulham, by the way. No, it's Rodrigo Munez, not Santiago Munez. So he got in some good positions, but he just couldn't really put it away. He couldn't finish it. We gave him chances. We were sloppy a little bit at the back. They were trying to play out from the back. Bruno lost the ball loads of times in the first half, so we were quite lucky. But we get the goal almost against the run and play, really. So great ball in by Kieran Trippier. Burn wins the header. Nice little flick by Louis Miley. Now, Fulham fans might feel a bit aggrieved by this and think it's a bit controversial, but Louis Miley flicks the ball and it hits Bruno in the shoulder and falls into the path of Sean Longstaff. And fair play to Sean, he puts it away. One of the best finishes I've ever seen Sean do, to be honest with you. Instinctive, bang, right in the bottom corner. Great power, great precision. And we're 1-0 up. And straight away, the commentary team, who, by the way, were absolutely fucking shocking. I think a comment there from Lucky Ducky, Lee Dixon, and Clive Tilsley. Apologies for the spelling. Talk the most utter shite anti-Newcastle, 100%. They were awful the whole game. They spent the whole first half moaning about that goal that went in. About 20 minutes after it went in, moan. But by the letter of the law, hit him in the shoulder. Bruno's not actively, raised his arm to do it. It's hit him, and it's felt the path of Sean Longstaff. It's not an offside position or anything like that. He's put it away. The goal has to stand. If Fulham had scored that goal, I bet you that commentary team would have said that goal has to stand and it can't be ruled out. The anti-Newcastle rhetoric from them two guys was unbelievable. You're totally right. Lucky ducky. I'm starting to think that these fuckers had a 10 spot on each for Fulham to win this game. And with William Hill or something like that, maybe Tonali gave them some odds. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. But, it could have possibly been that because they were fucking terrible the whole game. But at one point, Lee Dixon even said, what this game needs is a Fulham goal. And you were like, yeah, it's really impartial, Lee Dixon. Well done. Yeah, what a fucking helmet, honestly. Dreadful commentary team. You can tell that we were bumped to ITV4 with those two Waziks as the commentary team. I think there's probably an episode of fucking El Dorado coming on after our game. That's how shit that channel is. But anyway, moving on. So we get the goal, we're 1-0 going into the break. And you think yourself, we're kind of stealing one here a little bit. I think as Jan says there, yeah, shit game, but it's a win. Absolutely no doubt about it. So, we go in half-time. We're 1-0 up. Fulham come out again and they try and press a bit. They're trying to move it around a little bit. Wilson comes off for Willian, I think, at the end of the first half. Willian's a different player to Wilson. I don't think he's probably got as much in his locker anymore, but he can finish and he puts a lovely chance away, but they're obviously offside when they do it. But, again, Fulham, they're playing the nice stuff, they're moving it around, but there's just nobody to do it. There's nobody to put it away. Isak was looking sharp. He was finding positions. He was finding space. Dubravka's made a couple of decent saves. And then we get another cross coming in from Trippier, who looked good today, I thought. He looked more relaxed. He looked more like the Kieran Trippier that we'd expect, maybe even after all the noise about Munich and everything. He was just calm, collective, got on with his game. He didn't look rattled or anything like that. Lovely ball comes over. Botman with a bullet of a header, to be fair. A great save by Leno. It was Roddick, in goal. Makes a great save. Palms it out. And Dan Burn can't miss, really. Even though Miggy missed with his wrong foot 1 yard from goal against AC Milan, Dan Burn can't miss. He puts it in the back of the net. We're 2-0 up. And again, Dan Burn, all of the stuff that he didn't do well in the first half, getting caught out of position, getting done for pace, all that stuff's forgotten about because he gets the goal and then he ends up getting man of the match as well. But, Fulham don't really do a great deal after that. A couple of little half chances here and there, but it's really us. It's really us that haven't chance after chance. I mean, Gordon could have had 2 or 3. Some good tackles coming in from Diop. Just some maybe rash finishing. Again, with Isak, some overplaying. I thought Louis Miley grew into the game in the second half. I thought he got on the ball a lot more. Some great passes, some great tackles as well, to be fair, from Louis. I mean, he only gets a 6.9 on SofaScore, but his passing percentage was 90%. He won 4 of his 10 ground duels. He's put in 1 interception, 3 tackles, in the game. So I thought Louis, really grew into it in the second half. I thought he played really well. When he gets on the ball, and he puts that chance, those kind of through balls through the likes of Isaac and Gordon with their pace. That's what you want Louis Miley to be doing. You want him to be on the ball more and more, and just getting that through. And I just think for me, that's what we want Louis to do. But the fans were in great spirits. The noise from the cottage was unbelievable. You could hear it on the TV. Fair play ITV, not turning it down like some other channels do, apparently, reportedly. And there was loads of the old chants coming out, loads of the old songs. And you might have been wondering, why were people singing about the days of old? Well, there was royalty at Craven Cottage tonight. Now, I'm not talking about anyone from Saudi Arabia. I'm talking about the King of Newcastle himself. That's right. Alan Shearer was in the crowd. He was getting serenaded by the Geordies with what's now the Callum Wilson chant, but it was Alan Shearer. I want to know when you score that goal. I think it's his daughter behind him smiling. His son was grinning ear to ear next to him. His son seems like a right crack as well, to be fair. So he would have been winding him up, I'm sure. But great to see Big Al in and amongst all the fans as well, just absolutely buzzing and loving the Newcastle win. Hopefully he's having a pint with a few Newcastle fans in the boozer as well. But yeah, a routine win really for us. I mean, we just got to hope that we're going through. We're going to get a decent draw in the next round. The last thing that we want to do, the last thing that we really want to do is to get a rough tie against anybody else. We're coming there from Hyperball, who's been a member for 1 month. Congrats, mate! Thank you so much for that. Am I the only one who's sad to see Miggy go? I don't know, mate. It's a weird one with Miggy. Miggy works hard, right? And he runs for days. But I think the problem with Miggy Almiron is if you want to go somewhere as a football club and do things and win things, Miggy Almiron probably isn't the player to do that for you. Personally, I'd rather keep him in the squad. Hyperball, I really would. I'd rather keep him in the squad to have him running at people, with tired legs, because he's like an Energizer bunny. I used to make a joke. He's like the T-1000 out of Terminator. Just seems to run and run and run and run. And it's good to have players like that in the side. It really is. But if you can sell them and use the capital to reinvest and spread over 5 years in the amortization, that they do with the money now, get around the FFP problems, and you can get 2 or 3 really good players. And if you lose Miggy, you lose Lascelles and you lose Wilson. As much as it kills me to say that, but the guy is injured for 40% of the season. He's a great striker when he's fit, but he's not fit enough. And that's the problem. If you could sell those 3 players and get 50 million, maybe 50 million quid, and you can go buy yourself 3 40, 50 million quid players and spread that over 5 years, that's good business. And I think that's what we're in at the minute now. We are going to see players leave. In the summer, I've got a bad feeling that Bruno may leave. But to be fair, if Bruno puts in more shifts like he did today, I don't think we'll be that sad to see him go. I thought Bruno was shit today. I love Bruno a bit, but overplaying way too much, trying Hollywood balls when simple passes were there. I thought Louis Miley got him out of jail on a few occasions where he lost the ball, and Louis put in some good challenges, and he's the younger out of the 2 of them. Bruno did not look at his best today. He really, really didn't, to be fair. Comment there from C. Heth saying, any chance of a home draw next? That would be class. I really do hope that we get a home draw, because you'd fancy us against anybody at home, really, wouldn't you? Ian saying probably a home draw against Shitterpool, ruin Klopp's funeral. It would be quite nice to fucking dump them out of the cup, wouldn't it? It really would be. In terms of the goodbye to Klopp, which was the breaking news. I don't know if my video maybe helped make his mind up. When I called him a whiny turkey teeth bastard, maybe that was it. That was a straw that broke the camel's back, and off he fucked. Auf Wiedersehen, Jürgen. I did laugh at the fact he said he needs to take a break because he's too tired. Well, sit the fuck down, mate, and stop moaning the 4th officials here the entire game, and then maybe you won't be so tired after all, eh? Target in the window, says Roger. Yeah, possibly Target might be another one that gets sold as well. He could be a sellable asset. There's loads of cover in that position. We've got Dan Burn, we've got Hall, we've got Dummett who can play there, we've got Livramento. So effectively you got 4 left backs there, and then you haven't got Target even in the mix. So yeah, Target could be another one that gets sold. I hear Forest are interested, and maybe there's a little bit of deal sweet in there in terms of Morgan Gibbs-White and then Target as well. We don't know. Davey is saying we are in the next round. Worked hard, apart from Sunderland, where we dominated. Same sort of away performance since the start of last November, but we got the win. You're right, mate. We weren't at our best, but if you can play shit and you can win, then fair play. You know what I mean? That's exactly what we want to do. Michael is saying, don't mock ITV4, Chris. I still watch Minder on it. Oh, mate, honestly, that's the kind of quality of show that they're showing, really. Right? Write the theme tune, sing the theme tune. That was the old gag, wasn't it, as well, to be fair. Les is saying, I could really hear their commentary, just the away fans singing throughout, cracking. Yeah, to be fair, he didn't miss much in terms of their commentary. They were bloody terrible. Andy H said, not a great performance, but I'll take the result. Thought Miley was great. He was really getting stuck in. So much time on the ball. A great tackle he put in Andy, you're right. And then it really pissed me off when Clive Tilsey kept calling him Livramento. I was like, well, for starters, he's about a foot taller. He looks completely different. And he's got a different number on the back of his shirt as well, mate. Like, these are supposed to be fucking professionals, you know what I mean? But I thought Louis really did grow into the game. We were talking in our group chat about the only probably weakness you can say in Louis' game is he hasn't got speed, but he's got the speed of thinking, you know, in terms of if he can get his positional sense right, he doesn't need speed. You know, that tackle he put in, I think it was on Pereira, wasn't it? When he was about to break with speed. I think that shows you the difference there, that Louis doesn't need to have pace if he can put himself in those positions and make those challenges and then get on the ball and find those ranges of passes that he's got already at 17. You got to remember, like 17, how good is he going to be in 2-3 years' time? If he keeps developing at this rate, you know, we could have an unbelievable footballer on our hands. And I really think we will. I don't think we'll sell him. I don't think he's going to be one of those thought of at all. I think he's totally taken everybody by surprise in terms of his growth in the side. And I think if he keeps going the way he goes, he is going to maybe force himself into being a mainstay in that squad. And listen, if on that team, even that start 11, if Bruno does go in the summer, and Tonali comes back in, maybe Tonali and Miley would be a good pairing. You don't know. So we'll have to just wait and see what happens there. Shez is saying, just goes to show that even when we're not playing well, our resilience proved too much for Fulham. They seem to give up after around 70 minutes. Do you know what's interesting, Shez, as well? I mean, Fulham made 7 changes to the side that played Liverpool a few days ago. That shows you how weak and thin our squad is, even compared to somebody like Fulham. No disrespect to them. They can make 7 changes and still have international footballers on the pitch. We can't make 7 changes. You know, we had kids who haven't even kicked the ball on the bench with like 3 keepers or some shit like that we've had for months now. So that's why I think it's imperative we bring in 2 or 3 bodies in this window. I'd rather not lose anyone, to be honest. I'd rather not lose Wilson, Miggy, or Lascelles. I'd rather keep all 3 of them. Target, I'm not really fussed about because I think he's not really kicked on since that initial loan spell that he had. I think he's been quite poor after that. But I think those are the players you'd want to keep in the squad and then add on top of it. But it doesn't look like we're going to be able to do that, unfortunately, thanks to FFP, which is great. We love that, don't we? Lee saying, all right, Chris, it was a great result. Nice to see Shearer and the fans. What a legend. Absolutely, mate. 100%. It really, really was good. Tucoin is saying a decent draw. What's that? Exactly, mate. Yeah, a decent draw. Well, somebody shit I'd rather have, to be honest with you. I'm not really too fussed about having a big tie against a great side. Do you know what? I'd quite like Leeds, actually, if Leeds beat Plymouth. I've got some mates who are Leeds fans. It's always a good game when we play Leeds, and we're quite close, aren't we, geography-wise? I'd quite like Leeds at St James's. That'd be a corker of a game as well. It really, really would. Cushy saying, best I've heard away fans on TV, they never stop class. I think the away fans are normally like that, Cushy, but I think a lot of other people turn it down, don't they? So that really gets on my tits when they do stuff like that. We got is that Pilksy Bod turned commentary right down, muted completely when the pundits came on. Just waited for Eddie. Yeah, I don't think the pundits were overly great. I like Laura Woods. I think Laura Woods is a really good presenter, and Joby McInnes quite good as well. Actually, I know her logo is not very good. I know she's been in the news probably for the wrong reasons. With the whole Joey Barton thing. I'm not going to get into that. She does make some real gaffes and talk a real level of shit. And it's not because of her gender, it's just because she talks shit. You know, if it was her brother sitting there talking shit, I'd say he talks shit rather than she talks shit. But yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't a great setup, really, was it? You know, like I said, especially ITV4. You know, I think you'd be better off watching fan-led commentary like the lads at Toon Review. I've said that many, many times. Graham is saying, cheeky fuckers even said in UEFA, different in Europe handball would have been given. Honestly, they must have had a tenner on Graham. They must have done. Yeah, again, as if we don't know PSG. Well said, mate. Yeah, Tilsey well past it. Worst commentator. Absolutely no research at all. It's interesting because the media's been taking a bit of a hammering recently. I don't know if you saw the Sky Sports thing that was doing the rounds on social media when they were all sitting around talking. I think one of the guys refer to Lewis Hall as Matt Hall. And then what was the other one? Annie Wick Castle or something like that, which I'll let go because, you know, I've worked with Southerners before and I've heard it called Alnwick and Berwick in terms of the Northumberland towns. But yeah, Sky Sports got a bit of a bashing in it, and we kind of tagged them on Twitter, and one of them kind of bit back a little bit to us and said that they've watched Eddie for 23 years and they know, you know, everything that he does. And I just said, hey, fair play, thanks for coming back. I said, but I was talking about having more NUFC representation there, whether it be ex-players, ex-managers, or even, you know, fan, led media kind of guys, you know, like, you know, it doesn't have to be us. I'd love to go on Sky Sports if they want me to come on the studio, jump on the link and talk to them, and I had no problem doing that whatsoever. I wouldn't even swear. I promise. Mark's probably laughing at the screen right now somewhere, but you know, we would happily do it. You got the guys at Toon Review could offer great insight. You got to get shots, lads are great. You know, NFTV, I know they've been on there. The True Faith guys, you know. There's loads of great Newcastle United fan-led media guys who can go on and do it. You know, Adam Pearce and all the other guys, you know, all these people that could go on and just have a chat with them and give them an insight into Newcastle United fans. You know, I know some of the channels are engaged a bit more about it, but Sky Sports just seem to have these kind of 4 or 5, you know, guys who don't sound like they know anything about the club or what's going on, or, you know, and it really rubs fans the wrong way. And I think when you're charging so much for the product, is what I said when I replied to the Sky Sports guy, you're charging so much for the product, then you can't expect people not to be pissed off, you know, when they're watching shit like that. Just scrolling down there, sorry, I just looked at Cushy's comment. It was me. Klopp has taken offence. Ah, well, fuck him. Let him get on. I promise I won't swear on Sky, but I will swear that. Yeah, so moving down, just checked a few more of your comments, guys. What we got here? Yeah, I agree with you, Lee. I think Klopp is getting a new job. Colgate advertising, love it. I think he'll rock up at Real Madrid or Bayern Munich. I really do. I think that's what he's going to be doing. I think he'll be gone. But yeah, Sky were terrible with the old with the old Klopp loving, weren't they? My word. He thought he would have passed away. Shazza saying he agrees that he hardly even knows that Manu doesn't have pace. Clever players like Bergkamp, Berbatov, exactly, mate. Didn't need speed. Even Michael Carrick, you know, when you look at him, Michael Ballack, when he, you know, the great German midfielder who played for, you know, for was it Leverkusen, Chelsea for a bit. You know, really good midfielder who didn't need pace. You know, his brain was clever than anybody else, quicker than anybody else, and that's why he was so good. Speaking of the Toon Review, we've got Billy in the house. Good to see you, Billy. Professional performance, never got out of second gear. We didn't have to, Billy, did we? Really, I thought it was a professional job by the lads. Maybe conserving energy for the Villa game, possibly. Maybe we've mistaken a lack of intensity and explosion in this game for them actually just conserving energy for Tuesday night, because Villa's going to be a tough rub. It really is. That's going to be a tough game. Villa are a good side, still playing really well, and I think it's going to be a tough game for the lads. And that team pretty much will be the team that plays against Aston Villa. So maybe that's what it was. Another comment there from Colin Simpson. Pundits were that bad. I'm thinking of writing a complaint to ITV. Yeah, it's up to you, Colin, if you want to do that, mate. You know, if you want to write a complaint, write a complaint. I think you know, this is what people need to know. People need to know that fans aren't particularly happy about it, you know, and if, especially fans who are proud watching their team, you have to be a bit more impartial. But some of these guys, there seems to be an anti-Newcastle agenda. You know, it was never this bad until we were bought by the Saudi Arabians. It seems to be a lot worse now than that happened. I totally agree with that. Dean saying, man of the match with the fans for you, Dean. Absolutely, the fans were unbelievable. They really, really were. It's hard for me to give a man of the match, I think, for Newcastle. I wouldn't have given it a Burn, because I thought he was in real trouble. I think on the in the first half, you know, and if Fulham had somebody who could finish, I think they'd be in real trouble. We would have been in real trouble in terms of getting around the back of Burn and cutting inside. You know, as it happened, it didn't happen really in the end. So, but for me, I would give it a Gordon or Isak. I thought Miley played excellent in the second half, really grew into it. Could be a candidate for it as well. But yeah, I wouldn't have given it to Burn. You're welcome, Billy. Not a problem at all, mate. Happy to shout you guys out. I think you do a great job on that commentary. You put a lot of time and effort into that, and it's a great alternative to listening to wankers like Lee Dixon and Clive Tilsley, to be honest with you, and all the other pundits that are shit as well, mate. So happy to give you a shout out, mate. Yeah. So Mark has been mischievous in the admin. Yeah, bleep machines are ready for me on Sky. I won't swear. I can be professional. I can be professional, not swear. Honestly, you know, I promise. I really, really can. Yeah, well, yeah. Joe's had enough of Lee Dixon. I said, Lee Dixon, my word, honestly. Lee Dixon, what a dour, miserable little troll bastard he is, isn't he? You know, every time you hear him talk, he moans about shit. I remember him arguing years ago on Twitter. it was my wife's cousin tagged him in something, I think, but he said he was scared of Roy Keane, and he bit at that. And I thought, my God, he showed more endeavour and personality in that bite on Twitter than he has actually on the TV. But yeah, he just seems to be so bloody boring, doesn't he? Unbelievable. He really, really is. I've just spotted him, Mackham, in our comments. Goodbye, Mackham. Goodbye. Yeah, you just tell us still bitter from beating us. So he's gone. See you later, mate. Yeah, and his comment was absolute bollocks as well. Yeah, even at YouTube, Brian, good to see you in the comments, mate. Oh, yes, Dean, how could I forget? Maidstone at home, be great for both teams. What a result for Maidstone today, beating Ipswich 2-1. Absolutely brilliant. That's the magic of the FA Cup right there. It really, really is. And class for them, class for the players, and class for the lads as well. It really is. So yeah, buzzing for Maidstone. Obviously, I'm happy we won, but buzzing for them because that's what the FA Cup is all about. Yeah, I'm just laughing at. Yeah, don't worry, Shez. You can reply to him all you want. He's gone. He's in the sin bin, mate. Just scrolling down here, a few more of your comments, guys. Pretty much at the end there. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so for me, I think we won the game. We didn't have to get out of second gear, as Billy said earlier on. Professional performance. Tuesday night's a completely different setup altogether. I think Villa is a tough team. Villa's one of the informed teams in the Premier League. I think Emery's got them playing excellent stuff. Watkins is a threat. Diaby's a player that I know I really like. I wish we'd signed in the summer, to be honest. But yeah, I just think that it's going to be a tough game for us. We'll try and jump on and do a bit of a match preview for it. It'll be difficult because I'm getting dragged away with work, the day job, so I might struggle to see my face on the camera. Might be good for you actually. Might be enjoy the break from my face on the camera. But yeah, so the Villa game is going to be a tough one. But I think Newcastle, that will take confidence from that. We'll take confidence from that today. Confidence from the back of the City game. I thought we played really well in the City game, and we'll go to Villa Park. We won't be scared of Villa. I think we'll give them a game. I think if Bruno can show up against Villa, he could boss that midfield. They've got a good side, Villa, as we say, but Louis growing in confidence. Gordon looks sharp. Isak looks sharper and fitter every single game, doesn't he? Just looks brilliant. He probably could have got a goal or two tonight. Again, he could rock up and just flip Villa Park on his head if he's up for it. But Trippier's delivery, looking back to his best as well. I think we've got every good chance to get something out of the Villa game, So and that could be another one to kick us on, because after that there's a game or two where you think that, if we're on form and we're confident and we've got some bodies back like Barnes and Willock as well, with Murphy alongside maybe a sign or two, we could really go at those games and get a good result as well, to be honest with you. Yeah, Colin's saying they'll be sour until the next time. Yeah, you're not wrong, mate. You're not wrong. That's why I just binned them. I couldn't be arsed, to be honest with you. Ian is saying, how did it take so long to hunt out Shearer? We did have a hat on, mate. He was on disguise, wasn't he? He was in disguise, so you never know. He might have been keeping a low profile. Probably his son probably outed him, probably because he seems that way inclined, doesn't he? Which is great. Graham said, our midfield worries me against Villa. Easy to walk through. Miley's our best midfielder. Bruno and Longstaff need to step up and stop falling over. To be fair to Sean, great goal tonight, Graham, but you're not wrong. Bruno was disappointing tonight. Sean was a little bit headless in terms of his, his running and et cetera today. He used to run with purpose, Sean. He just seems to be running for running's sake now. I don't know whether he's just, struggling to get back to fitness. There was a slow-mo replay where he was running to catch. I think it was a Perella, and he looked absolutely knackered. Like he was blowing, and you thought, wow, that's not Sean Longstaff normally. He's normally got loads of energy. So it's just one of those. It's it is a bit concerning. But I think the quicker we can get Willock and Barnes back into the squad rotation and give those bodies some rest and have impact players to come on, the better, really, especially in games like Villa where we might need to do something to turn the game. Stu saying, how can a paid commentator, right, Lee Dixon, sit there and admit he doesn't have a clue about the rules or the VAR protocol? How about you read the rule book if you want to be a commentator? I think he was just being quite facetious, wasn't he, really, Stu? And I think he thought it coming across as quite clever, but just come across a bit dickish, really, didn't it? And that's kind of Lee Dixon all over, really. He comes across that way, which is why he doesn't really get a job on mainstream TV commentary. I think he's just a bit dour and a bit of a miserable bastard, really. He dines out on the fact that he was in that Arsenal back four. Liverpool and the brain, all his comments there about club. Arsenal back four for years. He was a decent player, but yeah, he's a dreadful pundit. He really is. He's not very good at all. He's just one of them other ones that hangs around like a bad smell and gets whatever work he can, I suppose, really. Dean was saying it's worrying when DB fell on his back. Yeah, I thought that when he fell, I thought that might have aggravated that injury again, but he seemed to get up and carry on, didn't he, Burn? Listen, I know I was a bit harsh on Burn, right? I love Burns' character and his personality. You know, he ended the game with the captain's armband on. He gives his shirt to the lad in the crowd. He's brilliant for that, Burn. He's Geordie through and through. But he is definitely a weak link in this team, and anybody with pace will target him. I really hope that Eddie starts Livramento against Villa, because Villa will go at Burn straight away with that lack of pace, you know, with a Diaby or a Watkins or pulling them or something like that, or even Bailey. You know, Villa have got pace to burn in that side, and I just, no pun intended, and I just hope that they don't start with Dan Burn in that game on the strength of this performance and go, oh, yeah, he deserves it and everything else. Yeah, but for me, I just be very, very careful. But you're right, Stu. If Trips is injured, you know, then yeah, that could possibly be an issue. You know, the Livramento might have to go over to right back, and Burn will start left back. Yeah, he is a liability type. He is a liability. Yeah, and I hate saying it because it sounds like I'm being harsh, because he's just, you know, putting kind of Roy the Rover style, you know, second goal in the bag and all that, captain's armband and that. But he's getting old. He doesn't move very quick. He's great in terms of recovery tackles and big long legs and everything. But if somebody's just, you know, when he's on the deck and he plants his foot, if someone spins him and they're in behind him, he's in big trouble. As you rightly say, Ian, you know, Diaby versus Burn, you know, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. That does really worry me. It really, really does. Marcus is saying, surprised Tino's not in the starting 11 in some way. I just think he come back from illness, didn't he, Marcus? And I just think that, you know, maybe we're just weeding him back in. But, you know, he's got to start against Villa for me, because the pace is just, you know, it's essential against Villa. I think he did, Billy. Dan Burn got a bit better after he banged his back. Maybe that gave him a bit more confidence, just to get stuck in, you know, because maybe he's a bit worried about how far he pushes that back in the interim, you know, and before he's had a big whack to it, and he's maybe thought, oh, I'm all right now, you know, I'll get stuck in and be the Dan Burn that everybody knows I can be. Ronald says that Burn was man of the match, no doubt. Yeah, a lot of people agreed with you, Ronald. Not for me. I think the danger in the first half of him getting caught out so much just took it away from him. I thought he grew in the game in the second half and he played a lot better. As did Louis Miley. I think Gordon and Isak were better in the first half, and second half they weren't as maybe clinical, but they were still on the ball making things happen. And so for me, I would have given it one of those two, really. We've got the black and white sheep. I think Tino's start will depend on Barnes coming back. That'd be interesting. Do you think Barnes will go straight back in the side, guys? I'm not sure he will. I think they'll slowly bleed Barnes back in. I think, you know, unless we sell Almiron, obviously, but you know, now Murphy's back fit, I think Murphy will probably fill in that right-hand side if Miggy goes. You know, whoever the replacement is, you don't know if it's Morgan Gibbs White or somebody like that. Maybe they go straight into the starting 11. Who knows? It depends on if we, you know, when we sign them, if we sign them, and how quickly they can get into the team. But I think whoever we do sign now, it's the 27th now. You know, they'll have to be pretty much done and dusted tomorrow, stroke Monday, to have a chance of getting in the squad for the Villa team, because Eddie will want them to train with the lads and see how he gets on. Yeah, good to see you too, Ryan. Thanks very much, mate. Thanks for jumping in the comments, pal. We've got another comment there from Joe saying that he feared the result, having a weaker midfield, out of form Longstaff, Miley not as strong in the tackle, Bruno keeping his nose clean, head of the band. Yeah, you're right, Joe. That might have reduced Bruno's performance possibly tonight. Yeah, but Fulham 7 changes was a big boost. I think it was. I think Lee Dixon was disappointed by Marco Silva's 7 changes because he lost his bet probably. But you know, I think I can understand when Marco Silva made those changes. But you know, if he wanted a chance to really go ahead and win or get through this tie and have a chance at the FA Cup, maybe he shouldn't have made as many changes as he did. But even when he made those subs on, we were in control of the game. I just don't think you know, Fulham had a chance of getting back in at all, really, mate. Ian saying Lewis Hall must have piles by now, the amount of sitting he's been doing. I don't think Eddie Howe wanted him. I think I said this before in another video. I think Lewis Hall is a Dan Ashworth signing, not an Eddie Howe signing. I don't think he wanted him. And I think that's why he's not playing him. Now, whatever that means, come the end of the season, if Lewis Hall is going to be a Newcastle player regardless, I don't know why Eddie would do that, other than trying to make a point as to who's in charge, and maybe Lewis Hall's collateral damage. And once that's realigned behind the scenes, then, you know, Lewis Hall might get a chance of starting games. I think defensively, Lewis Hall's naive. He gets caught out of position. I think the Dortmund game sits into my mind where the ball bounces, he turns his back, he doesn't know where he's going, and the winger's in behind him. But, you know, he's got loads more pace than Burn, loads more energy than Burn. He can get up and put crosses in the box. on the left-hand side like Trippier does on the right-hand side. If you sort them out defensively, I think Lewis Hall's a really good left wing back, modern day left wing back, kind of in an Andy Robertson type mold. But if Eddie doesn't want him, I don't know what's going to go on there. I really, really don't. Shez is saying he thinks Dubravka was his man of the match. His saves gives a strong foundation for the win. His distribution was decent too. Dubravka is looking better game by game, Shez. He really is. And I think that sharpness is coming back to him in terms of his shot stop and his reaction ability. But there's news that he wants to go. And if he wants to go, I think you go in the summer, obviously not go this window. If we buy another keeper, maybe that puts Pope as number 2. You just don't know. Trippier was man of the match for Billy. Like I said, I do think Trips was really good. Just really calm, Billy, I thought tonight. Really calm. Didn't make any mistakes. Didn't put a foot wrong. Made everybody else calm, around him. Botman looked good. I think a couple of heavy touches on the ball, but strong in a tackle position sense was good. Cher just does what Cher does, doesn't seem to put a foot wrong really. So the back four was decent, I think, tonight. Byrne, like I say, a bit suspect in the first half, but really in the second half pulled it back round and obviously putting a real good performance towards the end. Ian is saying, is it an obligation to buy Lewis Hall? Yeah, I think the deal's already done. Ian, I think we have to buy him. I think he's already going to be signed. So that's why I can't understand why Eddie's not playing him unless his attitude stinks. You just don't know. And maybe he's a worky ticket behind the scenes. We don't know. We're not privy to that kind of conversation, are we? So we'll have to wait and see what goes on. Great one, Stu. And Risabe has got more chance of starting the Liverpool. I love that, mate. Absolutely brilliant. I tell you, actually, speaking of great comments, I don't know if you saw it on X. One of the best comments was from the Lost Voice guy who won Britain's Got Talent. If you don't know, he offered his services to replace Lee Dixon at halftime and said even though he can't talk, he'll still be less dull than Lee Dixon. So that to me was chef's kiss. Maybe the Lost Voice guy is man of the match tonight for that comment, because that was absolutely class, world class by him. RG Fox here, worst performance I've seen from the lads for a long time, and I'll take every little thing and win with that onwards and upwards. Absolutely, if we can play shit and win games, then hey, why not? Let's keep doing that all season. We'll still finish the Champions League positions and be shit, and then push on from there. Got a comment from Keith Truscott. Even Bud, poor performance, really, but to play bad and get a win is a sign of a class team. Now watch us get Man City away in the draw. Do you know what? It would just be like us to get that. Keith, wouldn't it, maybe? Thanks for the comment, mate. We always appreciate it. We'll do a couple of more, guys, and then we'll let you all shoot off and get yourselves to bed or go get yourself a can or watch the telly, whatever you're doing. I was munching on some fruit chews before I came on. Maybe that's why my voice was a bit croaky at one point. Might have one of them stuck in there still, possibly. But I'm sure you've got other things to do on Saturday night than sit and watch me. But I do appreciate everybody who's jumped in the comments there and done that. So we'll wrap it up then, guys. I think that's it. Great to see you in the comments as always. A great win for Newcastle. Onwards and upwards. The draw, I think, is tomorrow. So we'll be watching that with a close eye and see who we get. I hope we get a favourable tie. We're only 2 games from Wembley. This is the first time we've got this far in the FA Cup. Yeah, good shout, Les. We're number 16 in the draw. Thanks for that, Les. This is the furthest we've got in the Cup, I think, for about 18 years. So we've got to move on. We've got to try and get back to Wembley. We've got to try and win an FA Cup, which is just, it'll be mint to win the FA Cup. If Eddie Howe can win the FA Cup in his second full season, I forget, as the Champions League, the first one. Absolutely class. Right, so that's me done then, guys. Have a great night, whatever you're doing. Thanks for watching. Remember to click like, and if you're new to the channel, as we always say, subscribe. It's all free content, but if you do want to give a bit back to the channel, there is a member option there as well. Helps me and Mark bring you this great content. You never know, we might even have green screens soon with fancy backgrounds rather than my curtains and Mark's fridge. We'll wait and see what we do there. So have a great evening, guys, whatever you're doing, and we'll catch you later. Take it easy.